I'm Ben Settle.
And I'm Coltin Fletcher.
This is our service learning project video.
Booyah. Alright. Give up the rest of your gang right now or we'll beat it out of you.
Dude, just give us some more information on who hired you. If you can give us some more information, we may be able to lower your sentence a bit. Come on, man. We didn't actually play good cop and bad cop for our service. Instead, we observed the effects of positive and negative self-fulfilling prophecies, as well as the perception process and the pillow method.
Yeah, we went and tutored a kid for once a week over the January and February, and we helped him study for 2 tests, and then for each one of those tests there were 3 quizzes that we also helped him study for. Alright, so first off, one of the first things that we noticed while helping tutor this student is the effects on his perception process. And Ben, what were some of the things that you noticed in the perception process?
Well, we noticed that a lot about the first and 4th steps of the perception process, the selection and the negotiation. And the selection part of this of the perception process, we realize this effect on students' performance. Students who select what concepts they pay attention to will not perform as well because they will not remember things when they get closer to quizzes and tests. Our student needed tutoring because he was selecting parts of the lectures in his class to not pay attention to. We were able to help him through tutoring to realize that some of the things that he was not paying attention to because he thought they were unimportant were actually important to the concepts, and he was able to understand them a lot better when he realized that he needs to pay attention to even the small stuff. What about the 4th step of the process, Colton?
Yeah, the negotiation part. So with the negotiation part, it was easier to help him when we would help compare our notes with his notes to see the parts that he was missing that he needed to go over again, and also when we were sharing like other stories with him, like how we noticed in class where we heard the teacher say this and he heard him say this, and to combine ours to see a shared perspective to help him understand the subject better.
We didn't notice as much with the middle 2 steps of the participation process, but we did notice a little bit.
Yeah, we noticed like with the organization when we'd help him organize what he learned and how important it was and how not important it was, that it helped him to do better on the test than others. And
we also noticed with the interpretation that as we began tutoring him, he was struggling interpreting these math concepts, and towards the end of our tutoring, he was doing a lot better interpreting. So we also think that tutoring is just a form of helping somebody with the interpretation process of their perception through the negotiation process. And so all 4 stages of the interpretation process were present while tutoring.
perception process.
Another concept we observed while tutoring was the pillow method and its effects on self-fulfilling prophecies. Colton, we're here. What are the effects? What are the positions on the pillow method that we noticed the most?
Alright, so we noticed the first 4 positions, the I'm right, you're wrong, you're right, I'm wrong, the we're both right, we're both wrong, and that this issue doesn't even matter.
We saw that the 4th one and the 2nd one were most common during the first half of the tutoring. He took position 4 a lot. The issue isn't important, especially much during the original part of the original half of the tutoring. We can see that this probably had an effect on his self-fulfilling prophecies. He created these negative self-fulfilling prophecies partially, in fact, that he thought that the issue wasn't important. Then he moved on to the fact that once he realized that this was important, he realized he wasn't getting it right a lot. So then he started taking position 2 that we were right and that he was wrong. And so, but this still doesn't create a lot of confidence as he needed to start understanding the concepts. And then after that, Colton?
Then he started to realize hey, I got this, I'm right, and that even sometimes we were wrong with our problems and he's able to prove that. And that towards the end, we were able to both be right, and in position 3, and we were able to understand the concept as a group. All right, so before we get into the self-fulfilling prophecy of the student we helped tutored, Ben's going to give us an example of some real results of self-fulfilling prophecy.
It may not seem like your attitude towards yourself can have so much of an effect, but some research done by the Journal of Applied Social Psychology shows some real results. They did a study on the effects of parents' perception of the importance of their involvement in adolescent substance abuse prevention programs and the results. This research found that when parents believed that their involvement didn't matter to the outcome, when parents believed this, their children had higher alcohol use at the end of the study. However, when parents thought that their involvement was important to it, their children's alcohol use dropped towards the end of the study. And so we can see there's real results. And then we'll go back over into self-fulfilling prophecies during our tutoring.
Yeah, so while we were tutoring at first, the student's self-fulfilling prophecy, he thought that he couldn't do this subject and that it was too hard and that he should just give up. But we were able to imply that he could do it, and we were able to change his self-fulfilling prophecy to where he knew he could do it on his own, which helped him in the end to help get better quiz scores and test scores to help bring his grade up.
And there you can see two types of self-fulfilling prophecies. The self-created one that he came into with, and the one that we impose. So there's the two types based on who imposes it. We can see the importance of these three concepts in our day-to-day lives, especially to go over perception. Negotiation is an important stage in the perception process. When we talk to other people, we can see their perceptions on things, and we can share our perceptions. We can help everybody come to the truth faster. When we share it with other people, they may be able to help us find out where we went wrong in the stages of the selection process, like selection, organization, and interpretation. We may be seeing things that we may be we may not be observing things that we need to. Going wrong in the selection process, we may not be thinking things are relevant to other things in the observation process, and we may not be interpreting these to the best of our abilities in the interpretation process. And we'd never know this if we didn't negotiate like we did with when we tutored this kid.
And we should also remember the pillow method and being able to see all the positions. Like, we always want to see the first position where we're right and they're wrong, but to help us better understand things, we also need to be able to see their perspective, like how they're right and we're wrong, and how sometimes we can both be right and both be wrong, and that some things we argue over just aren't important, and that there are truth in all of our perspectives, and we just need to remember that to help us get along with everyone better, and so we can all learn better.
And the pill method has an effect on self-fulfilling prophecies. The more we take certain positions in the pill method, the more negative self-fulfilling prophecies we impose. When we take positions like we're wrong all the time, and the position and the topic doesn't matter, like the student we tutored at the beginning of our service, we will create negative self-fulfilling prophecies in which we'll be unable to perform to the best of our abilities. We need to move around this to recognize that we're not always wrong, but we're not always right, so that we can learn the best and the fastest, and create some positive self-fulfilling prophecies. It's also helpful when we receive when positive self-fulfilling prophecies are imposed on us, like we tutored this kid. When more people think that we can do better and they help us, then we'll do better too. And so that brings us to our call to action.
We want you to impose positive self-fulfilling prophecies. Like, I know while in athletics, when someone would, before one of my races, be like, hey man, you got this, you're going to run a great race, I would always run a better race than when people say, hey, you're full of yourself, you aren't going to do well, just because it helps give me a better mindset. When, like, this student, when we tell him, like, hey, you got this on this test, you know what you're doing, he would always get a better score than like when nobody would tell him anything.
And so we just need to be careful about the self-fulfilling prophecies we give to other people. Thank you.